All right, welcome everybody to a new Galaxis AMA. Today, we are very happy to be joined by the Galaxis team, founder and CEO Andres and Christine here as well. Thank you guys so much for being here. Please give us a quick introduction for everybody watching live or later on our YouTube channel. Who are you guys? What is your affiliation with Galaxis? And before I forget, also welcome Herman. Thanks for being here as well, our trusty advisor. Yeah, take the floor, guys.
Thank you. My name is András Kristóf. I'm the CEO and founder of Galaxis, and here I'm joined with Christine, the CEO, who is an extremely great help in everything to make sure that we run this as a real company. I have been a technologist in all my life, longer than I want to remember, and did smaller, larger companies. I lived in Singapore for 17 years, and during that I did join a company as employee number 4, I believe, which was called Wiki.com, which was a Korean, Armenian startup in Singapore, where I became the CTO, built the tech team and the product, and eventually we sold it to Rakuten for about $200 million. After that, it was around 2007, if I recall it correctly. After that, I started to do my own businesses, and I joined the blockchain space in 2013, where Bitcoin was $30 and Ethereum did not exist yet. So we built and deployed the first Bitcoin ATMs in Asia back in 2014. Then we built our own layer 1 because we wanted to create a distributed asset management system that anybody can issue their own tokens. Think about it like a proto ERC20 system, but again, there was no Ethereum yet. But when Ethereum came along in 2015 summer, I think the beta, then we switched from our technology to Ethereum and started to work with Ethereum. We have been working in Ethereum since the very beginning. We worked with the Ethereum Foundation, with Consensus, with ENS, with a lot of parties who are around since the early days as well. And we started to work with technologies very early. For example, we have been working and building utilities on top of NFTs for like 5 years now. Galaxis is the project that we started 2.5 years ago, is a funding and monetization framework for anyone or any entity with a community. The original inspiration or need for Galaxis came up when we were working on an educational project that had a community creating educational material, teaching that material and everything else, but there was no good business model behind it. So we came up with a business model where people were able to support projects or support the different courses, and they were given membership cards with discount coupons and a lot of other things that made sense in the context of that community. So out of that, we came up with the idea to actually focus on this funding and monetization part. And we started to build a project, basically a platform that could help, again, anybody or any entity. And it could, we first targeted people like open source developers, ecosystem workers, social good projects, educational projects, and similar things that were helping a lot of people, providing a lot of value. But based on their choice, there were not many business models they could actually reach out to. So we wanted to create something that with which they could actually create a sustainable long-term project that could be sustained by its users as long as the project was creating value to the users. We started building this 2.5 years ago, and when we came out with the first version, a half a year later, then we found ourselves in the midst of the NFT hype, and immediately we started to work with several projects, artists, actors, a lot of different people, all with communities, providing them these membership cards, technically NFTs, with a lot of utilities on it. For example, we started with LaMelo Ball and created NFTs for him where the stats of his games were recorded as the games happened. We worked with Mike Tyson and created NFTs where you could actually redeem some perks from the NFT. For example, apparently there was one of the redeemable that you could redeem and schedule a meeting to go to his ranch and even to spar with him. And a lot of different things. We created animated and forgeable NFTs that you had to collect different parts and forge it together to see the animation. So we started to apply the platform features to these different projects. And over the years, we worked with 30 to 40 different entities, very small companies, all the way to very large one, for example, the NBA, which we created a project called The Association, which was a free NFT drop with the player's face, where you could, every day as the games happened during that season, based on the performance of the players on the field, the NFTs got updated with perks and visual perks. So basically we had the basketball cards that changed based on how the actual player performed on the field. That was a project together with NBA and Chainlink. So we worked on it for 2 months. It was great. It went where the technology was working well. But after that, we started to focus on the platform because we wanted to make sure that we have a platform where anybody can do this kind of engaging membership cards, can add redeemables and a lot of different things. And we released the platform last December in a private beta. We are still in private beta, currently onboarding 30 to 40 communities, and planning to release the platform publicly this coming October.
Okay. Well, very well said, Trust. I think that incorporated at least 3 questions we had planned. So thank you. Thorough answer.
So
hey,
check, double check.
Before Herman, I know that he wants to ask some very sharp questions here, but before we do that, Christine, would you care to do a quick introduction of yourself as well, just so we have a full scope of the leadership of Galaxis, or part of it at least?
Oh, yes. Thank you very much. Hello, everybody. I'm Christine. I joined Galaxis almost 2 years ago, and I'm very happy to be here because this is not just a startup. This is almost like a family. András has built this team for over like 20 years. We are working with extremely experienced developers, and we are all very dedicated. I'm responsible for operations, and actually whenever you have any questions, please come to me because I'm your person. So that's me for now. And I just wanted to say one more thing about the projects we have had with NBA, and there are some projects which we are going to name a little bit later. Obviously, these were very well paying projects for about, I mean, we can also mention one number, just the NBA paid $500,000. Yeah, doesn't matter. Yeah, it's, look. So I just want to say that this is a lucrative business.
Definitely, yeah. And like you said, after this recording, we'll go in more detail on the client side. But for now, Thank you, Christine. Let's move forward to some more investment-related questions. So obviously, everybody watching here is very eager, and they've all done their due diligence quite thoroughly. So they have a pretty basic understanding of what Galaxis is and who you are. So I guess what we really want to know right now is, how is Galaxis positioned in the market, and what does the opportunity look like? Herman, I know you have some questions about this. Could you please elaborate some points and yeah.
Yes, sure. So, we are interested in knowing, for example, how would your ideal customers look like? You just said, okay, MBA. How big is the market? How do you see Galaxis succeeding in getting enough customers? Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
How big is the market? How many communities are in existence? This is very important because Galaxis is not an NFT project.
No.
Galaxis is a project that can enhance any community. Web 2, Web 3, Web 1, Web 0, doesn't matter. And we do happen to use NFTs. We call them digital membership cards, but it doesn't make us as an NFT project. In many ways, I call Galaxis and its platform a post-hype NFT platform because we are very heavily leaning into utilities. Somebody just called the platform, I wrote it down, I loved it. He said it's a hyper utility based platform. And if you can create a utility-based membership card for a community that the community creator or creators can provide ownable value to the community members and provide value that is being appreciated by the community members, then we step beyond the current Web3 or the current NFT market, and we can make ourselves useful for literally any community in the world. So from this point of view, I would say our competitors are more like, at least from one point of view, are more like Patreon, or if I may say, OnlyFans, or anything where you have a large amount of people with their community, providing value to their community. And it could be an actor, an artist, an athlete, a writer, a cosplayer, a YouTuber, a small chess club, or large entities like NBA. And the way Galaxis is written, as long as there is interest in the community, as long as the creator or creators can provide value, it can create a sustainable ecosystem for them. So it is basically meant for long-term sustainability, to create a project that can go on for the long term.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think that's actually something that is missing as well, or at least that's my view. What is your take on that? What does the market look like? Do you have any competitors that are also creating engagement platforms like this, and could it be comparable to, for instance, a questing platform, or in a sense, what is your take on that?
Yes, there are from some point of view, there are definitely several competitors. I would say one of the defining differentiating factor is that we focusing not on the current Web3 or NFT space. We try to show that there is a lot of different use cases that can use it, and as long as people understand the concept of membership cards, as long as the people understand the concept of membership, of discount coupons, of things that they can gain in picture, so they will see. Just this morning, I was talking with a person who is onboarding on the platform, and he's building a platform for tours for singers going on tours, and their fan base, and the people who like those singers, and the same concept: membership card, perks, utilities, redeemables, perfectly applicable for this as well. And we are talking about a non-Web3 literate audience. And you will see when we are talking about some other projects that we did, that we can definitely reach out and work with non-Web3 natives as well.
Very interesting.
And if we look at, say, your token at this moment, what is the use case of the token then? If you're also going to Web2 or any case, also in Web3, what can you do with the token?
Usually the only way to justify a token is because the token can be used to incentivize specific community features, specific community actions. If you take out incentivization, then there is no justification for a token. Then you can use Ether, you can use anything that is if you want to use it only for payments, you don't need a token. The problem is with most of the tokens that have come out, and I know many of us been around since 2000, 17, the ICO craze. We know that almost all the tokens are only made for incentivization. There is no actual utility behind it. So what we had to design based on this experience that we have been learning since the 2015, 16, and so on, to create tokenomics, create an ecosystem for communities where the token can be provided for the communities as incentivization, but can also be heavily utilized within that ecosystem. As long as you have actual utilization, actual demand for the token, because I need this token because I need to do that, and that, then incentivization on top of it makes absolute sense. And what we have, and I can share this documentation with you. I don't think we want to actually get into very deep details on that, but I can share this documentation with you, how the token can be utilized and how the incentivization will create a constant demand for this token. Of course, everything will only work if we have traction. That has to be said. But as long as the framework operates well, and as long as it's really useful for communities, we will have traction. And if we will have traction, there will be demand for the token, and then the incentivization will make sense through this ecosystem.
And what is your experience at this moment? Say, for example, if you have a new customer, a new community is using, say, your platform, what can you tell about the people that are coming?
We have been building this platform for the last 2.5 years, and most of the time was, at least over half of the time, was us directly engaging with customers and figuring out what they need, what they want, what they need, and how to implement it for them. And then the next half of the time was distilling this experience and putting it into a platform form. So next time somebody comes using the platform, they don't need us to build what they need, because based on these 25, 30 projects that we did over the last years, we know what is the core set of features that somebody with the community will want. And no surprises here. What they want is a way to give value to their community, and what they also want is a way for them to monetize on their own creativity. And this is what the platform provides.
Mhm.
Cool.
And you're talking about a lot of quite substantially big customers here, clients.
Mhm.
What does the revenue model look like exactly? Do you guys do this through like a subscription? So you will sign a subscription and you will get this, or do you have to purchase an entrance to this to this ecosystem?
I want to mention three different models. The original model where we started it, and most of the time we worked with, that we provided a white glove service. All right, dear big customer, this is what you want. We will do it for you for this much money, or a percentage of what you're going to sell. Some customers say, we're going to pay you a lump sum and we take all the sales. And some customers said, we're going to give you a percentage. So that is the so-called traditional model. But now that with the platform coming live, this model is not going to work, especially because when you start a community, and we are not talking about hyped up communities with tens of thousands of people in the whitelist. We are talking about somebody starting a community with 10 people because that's all that they have, and they grow from there. So there is no way to put this kind of monetization system on that. So what we do, we will provide a service that you need to run your community at the base cost, basically paying for that part of the server that you are using. So you may not get it for free, but as long as you have minimal traction, you basically are free. And then when you start monetizing your community through the platform, and the community start paying you by purchases on the secondary market, by buying trades, by buying membership cards, by paying for a higher tier membership, because you can actually set up membership tiers, then we will take 5% of what they pay to you. So until then, in order to get started, all you need is a launch key, which is an NFT, which will be, for many people, will be available for free. We are not even going to sell it. We will saturate the market with it, so people who want it can find one and start their own communities. And after that, when you have your community and you actually have people who are supporting you, then we will take a very small cut of that. Right now, this is set to 5%. And I'm sorry, there is one more model, because we are working with a couple of meta communities. Meta communities are, for example, just an example, when you have a platform with thousands of musicians, and each musician have their own community. So we are working with meta communities to take Galaxis as a whole and white label it for their platform. So Galaxis will also going to be white labeled, and that is a pure licensing deal. That is good old school licensing deal. So that is the third one that is already happening as well.
But let me tell you that if, let's say, Beyonce or the King of England is coming knocking on our doors, we are not going to say no.
Yes,
no, you better not.
So the white glove service is still working.
we are still going to do white glove service. That is very true, but we are going to be much more selective, because the only way to scale is through the platform.
Gotcha. Okay. And what? Sorry, Herman, go ahead.
Yes, still, I don't see the so we're now, of course, we are here because of the investment there, and I believe that there is going to be a supply of 100 million tokens, right?
I will need to check the final number, but yeah, a supply of X amount of tokens, yes.
And but what's imagine we are say half a year further. What would be say, and I am interested in buying the Galaxis token, what would be the benefit for me of buying the token? What does it bring me?
Are you buying it because you are the usually after the platform is out, most of the people who buy the token because they are part of the platform, because they belong to a community who is on Galaxis, and they want to do something with the token. They want to utilize a redeemable, they want to engage in a game, they want to do something for which they need a small amount of token. They need to be able, they will have to top up their membership card. Let's say you start your own membership, your own community, you issue your own membership card. You issue your own perks, digital redeemables, meet me redeemables, meaning online meeting perks, physical redeemables, discount coupons, a lot of different things. So when people are utilizing it, some of them actually has, or they start in a game, some of them has a small fee payable in Galaxis token. So
I get it.
In order to use their cards to the fullest, it makes sense for them to top it up with a couple of dollars. And then they can use the think about it like microtransaction. We are not talking about exuberant fees here, absolutely not. But if you multiply it by, let's say, 1,000 communities with an average of 500 members on it, each of them holding a card topped up with some Galaxis tokens, then we are talking about demand. We are talking about actual demand for the token. And then there is a lot of things what communities can do to utilize this token further. And we are incentivizing them to commit and lock up their membership cards to their own communities, which has also filled up with Galaxis tokens. But we are going ahead too fast here. I think the most important thing is that as long as the platform performs, as long as there is traction, there will be a lot of tens of thousands or hundreds of thousands different accounts purchasing small amounts of Galaxis tokens because they want to use it in the platform to engage and interact with their community members and with the community creator.
But so then for the investor point of view, it would then be very important to know, right? Because the token will only perform well if it is adopted by a lot of communities and all of the members are engaging with it and upping up their tokens. So what is your strategy for rolling this out across Web 2, Web 3, Web 0 industries and getting this adoption started of the platform?
We are engaging with people and companies who has been performing very well so far, and they are the core of our strategy to do it so. And actually, this is one of the most important reasons why we are raising funds, because we want to go all out to ramp up adoption on the platform. So this is one of the most important reasons why we actually need more money, because we want to make sure that now we've got this platform, we need to make sure that people know about it. This is one of the points. The other point is that is important and interesting is that we do have industry partners, for example, Chainlink, who has been our technology and business development partner for the last since the beginning, and they are, for example, came in our seed round as well, and they are, for example, bringing in a lot of high-value customers. For example, the NBA deal did come through Chainlink. They are just one of the one, and they are just and they are alone bringing in a lot of deals, and. With the platform out, with the extra engagement out, I do expect to be able to close more deals like this with super large entities. And that a lot of advertisement and everything else on the platform will bring in real communities as well.
Okay.
Yeah.
And the raise at this moment is how much do you intend to raise with this fundraise?
I believe the private round is $1.25 million, so it's rather modest.
Yeah.
Yeah, but it is for marketing purposes, right?
Mostly.
Yeah.
Mostly. It is also, I think we also need to highlight that we have been running this project pretty much bootstrap for the last 2.5 years. We only started to raise money and successfully close the seed round once the private beta was open, up and operational. Before that, we did not take any investment money. And the team is 25 people. It is a rather complex piece of architecture, at least to write it, not to use it. This is a non-trivial undertaking from the technology point of view as well.
Okay.
Yeah, fair enough. All right. Okay, we gotta wrap up the team questions a little bit so we can move it back to the community. We got a couple more that is already widely talked about within our Discord already. So I'm just going to go ahead and ask this one out of the name of the community, so to speak. So what is the exact value proposition for the people who are getting in early right now and who therefore have a a vesting schedule? Is there any particular value proposition for those, let's call them early believers or early backers of the project?
Other than being able to get I don't even know where to start. First of all, obviously, if you buy the token alone, then you will get it below market price. That's kind of normal. I do assume that all of you have seen the tokenomics. You did see that it's rather tight in terms of vesting schedules and emissions and everything else. We wanted to build it based on the best industry standards. If you actually are an early supporter and you end up, for example, with the Gen 0 Galaxis card as well, you will get a lot more benefit. Again, once there is sufficient traction on the platform, you will be able to utilize your early commitment in several different ways. Is that the kind of thing you want me to, or would like me to talk about, or the question was for something else?
Yeah, I suppose perhaps if you could give us a brief rundown while the community thinks of some questions. Yeah, feel free.
Okay. One of the things, so what we are talking about is communities who have membership cards, NFT-based membership cards. So Galaxis community is just one of the communities on the platform. Obviously, it's like we are eating our own dog food, so to say. Obviously, we are going to use our own platform to create our own community. There will be a couple of differences, though. If you have your own community, your community members can stake their membership cards to your community and kind of make it soul-bound, at least for a certain amount of time. They can still use it, but they cannot move it. Basically, they commit not to sell it. And the more community members do it, the community's status in the leadership board will go up. It's kind of sort of a competition between communities. If you have a community card, you can only use it in that particular community. Having a Galaxis card, especially a Gen 0 card, is different from this point of view as well. With a Gen 0 card, you are able to support or boost any of the existing communities on the platform. So this is the only card that in some ways works in other communities as well. So having a Gen 0 card can help you to to provide support to your chosen community, and even in a way that it has a multiplier. So Gen Zero cards topped up with the Galaxis tokens may have a multiplier compared to other cards topped up with Galaxis tokens in the same community. Similarly, you will be able to do a tiny bit of a community run. If you have a Gen Zero card, you top it up with a stable token, and you will be able to get Galaxis token out of it with a specific vesting schedule. So there will be a lot of different things that only exist within the Galaxis community and can actually go over to other communities with the help of the Galaxis cards, but it only originates from the Gen Zero cards. So it's a sort of, every community is equal, but the Galaxis community a little bit more equal.
I like how you put that. A little bit more equal.
But I think what say our community is consists of investors, and I don't think that most of the people inside Digits Club are going to use Galaxis, but they want to support a project by investing money in it, right? And of course, for an investor, it's important to know, okay, I'm going to invest an X amount. So what, and of course, and it's an investment, and we know there are risks, but at the end, you want to have a feeling, or almost want to know for sure, hey, is this going to be a good investment? I'm giving my money, and I want to wait for a year, I want to wait for 1.5 years, but at least it needs to come back, and hopefully times 2, 3, 4, 5, for example, right? I think that's more the question, the value proposition that is coming from us. Can you tell us something about it?
Yes, I can. So again, there is multiple. We have seen it all. We have seen the bets and we have seen the good ones. So we know that the only way to make that happen, to do that 2-3 times investment and hopefully more, of course, it can never be promised, is that to create utility, create use, and create traction. The tokenomics is built in a way that it makes it as much as possible, creates a very stable sailing for the token. There is no dump on the market. We are protecting against that in multiple ways. We modeled out everything. We even know when we need to ramp up marketing and other activity in order to create more demand, because that is what the current months of that particular months of tokenomics demand. So we've got it planned out. From the utility point of view, the token, which is going to be arriving to the market in a rather modest way, so there will be no big dump on the market. The token, as long as there is a lot of demand for it, as long as there is a lot of communities utilizing, and each community member topping up their little wallets with the tokens, that must generate demand. We also have 2 kinds of staking per community, which is, I think, is going to be very, very interesting. That will create competition between the communities, and again, have the potential to take away a lot of liquid Galaxis tokens from the market. In addition, when I did tell you that when somebody pays the community creator with Galaxis tokens, we take 5%. But I did not mention that according to at least the current tokenomics structure, another 10% is burned. So there is a burn built in, as long as there is usage, as long as there is people are paying for things within communities, there is a constant burn of tokens. And if we have very tightly controlled tokenomics, supported by marketing whenever is required, and have a lot of traction in the platform, getting up a lot of tokens, creating demand for a lot of tokens, and mechanisms that A, lock up the tokens, B, burn the tokens. I think these are all the weapons in our weaponry that a project can use in order to make the token more valuable. But with all of that said, you said it very well. There is no guarantee. I think anybody else otherwise, they are lying.
Lying.
Yeah.
Yeah,
No, true. That's true. But you can say if we are in a stable market and the marketing is doing
Yes.
fine and the project is doing fine.
Yes.
I assume you also have a market maker to
Yes.
at least to put some liquidity, etc.
We've got, of course, we've got the market maker covered. This is one of the best in the industry and is regulated in the EU. So we are making sure that it is not a pump and dump operator of any sort. So also this is not an anon project, as you can tell. I do think we covered all of our bases when we designed it. Again, I would love to spend more time about talking about how the communities will actually lock up a lot of Galaxis tokens in staking, but maybe we can cover that later if we have time.
Next
I don't
time.
want to spend much time.
Next time. Yeah, of course, absolutely. So we love inviting people back.
Yeah.
Okay.
For seconds.
For sure.
And the community so far has been very excited. So that might well happen. Talking about the community, let's move over with the last couple minutes we have here to cover some community questions directly. So these are unfiltered. If you don't feel comfortable answering them, feel free to do so.
Please do.
The first one that we got coming in is from Massimiliano. And I think you already covered it quite well, but feel free to elaborate on this. He's asking, what is the founder's vision on the token price over time? Are they interested, just like G4AL, to keep the price stable even at a cost so they keep the investors happy? Or will they allow price to fluctuate naturally? So you already talked about how you would use marketing efforts to get the price up if needed. Would you care to elaborate on this?
More like marketing efforts from preventing the price from going down if needed. Because sometimes you need a lot more attention, so there is inflowing demand, and we are ready to provide that. I do think that we can let the token move a little bit more freely. This is not a stable token. We don't intend to make that so, but I'm sorry, even if I hurt my own cause here, I will not do anything to actually try to pump up the token because it has to come from the actual demand of the communities. And if we really want to create a long-term project that brings benefits on the long term, then we cannot afford that. There is one project. I know it is going to sound very boastful, but there is one project that I set my sight on when I'm trying to see in what ways we should run things. It is actually Ethereum, which started with the token, which started with delivering on the promises, and eventually got somewhere very, very, very close to the top of this ecosystem. I do think that is the way to go.
Yeah, I agree, actually. It's you can manipulate a token, but that's more or less a short-term way to keep the investors happy. But real investors, right, the investors that you're probably looking for, they want longevity, and I think that is what you guys are focused on. Which is exactly why we spent some time on the growth strategy and the marketing, because that is so important for this project, right? There's no clever market maker place. There is supply and there is demand.
No,
great.
we will disclose the market maker as well. You will see that they are the real deal.
Yeah. Okay. Awesome. Yeah. Perfect.
Cool.
All right, you guys. Feel free to ask more questions in the chat. We're live now, so do it while you have the chance. In the meantime, Herman, anyone, you guys have anything else that you would like to talk about for right now, while we wait patiently?
Maybe just one thing about the communities and who we have already worked with. I mean, if you can imagine that we attracted very, very big names without any advertisement in the past. We attracted huge names through word of mouth and through our very, very good strategic partners like Chainlink. So, and if we have attracted these people back in the past and in the bear market as well, we have one big project to name later, then you can imagine when they see what we have already reached and what we have on the market, I mean, which is now the private beta, when it's up and running out and freely accessible, what can come. Also, we are onboarding at the moment about 40 communities. So if you are questioning whether we are going to have enough communities, I'm 100% sure that in the next half year, it's going to exponentially grow. And as we said, we are not just focusing on Web3 clients. Of course, Web3 clients are easier reachable at the moment, but as soon as not Web3 are going to see the potential in this, they are going to jump in. And we can also name big athletic clubs, big.
We are talking with several sports teams. We are talking with museums. We are talking with a lot of different entities who can actually utilize this system. So we are actually sometimes have to politely say no to specific projects because we don't have the demand or don't have the bandwidth to work with them.
Yeah,
that's good news. Yeah. Okay. Cool. All right, you guys. I don't see any community questions. What we're talking about right now aligns a lot with the special announcement, right? The client that we cannot disclose right now. So I'm actually thinking about stopping the recording, ending AMA here, and bringing that last announcement.
Someone is coming in.
We have one more coming in.
Glenn. Glenn's got a question.
Yes, let's see. Okay, how large is the onboarding client team now? I'm trying to figure out how fast you want to grow.
Right now, we've got 3 people working with the onboarding client, and plus an extra lot of support from the tech team. The tech team itself is 10 plus people, and they regularly go to the onboarding team to provide technical support and provide demos and basically this kind of group sessions where they show the new features to the onboarding teams.
Yeah, we have an educational series, first of all, but this is the moment where we have to mention that the platform is very, very easy to use. So it's like a drag and drop system. So actually, if you have all the art on hand, then you can deploy your whole NFT, series within like 2 hours. Also,
expanding the onboarding team is fairly straightforward. And as soon as the platform will be out, we will have to scale it up significantly.
Yeah, I can imagine. All right. Yeah, I think that answered that pretty well.
One thing that would have been great, we don't have the time for that now, is for me to demo some part of the platform, because it always creates a lot of excitement, because it's actually very tactile and useful. So maybe next time I would spend like 10 minutes to demo some of the features of the platform.
Absolutely. So just for your information, how this works. Yeah. So what we're going to do directly after this AMA is we're going to do an interest test, which I would assume would be quite positive, or at least I am, just so we don't waste time, let's say, right?
Yeah,
if the community is static, if they're excited and you guys have the time, we would absolutely love to get a demo before starting a pool or
would be
anything
amazing.
Like that.
I would love that.
Okay. Cool. Yeah, we'd love to have you guys. That's that's very useful, very helpful. Okay. Yeah, perfect. I'm going to stop the recording here, and then we can talk about one more announcement that we have regarding Galaxis that we unfortunately cannot do live on the recording. So thank you guys for joining. Thank you for watching, everybody on YouTube, and we'll see you guys in the next AMA. Bye-bye.
Thank you.